All right. To have the football with a chance to tie the game there at the end was an encouraging thing considering how many things we did that we can't do if we want to beat a good football team like that. The players fought. They tried to overcome, in many cases, some things we did to ourselves. Defense kept us in it all day long by their battle against a really, really good offense. But lose the turnover battle 3-0 and the penalty situation, which we've got to get fixed immediately, specifically the 8 pre-snaps, whatever was going on with the cadence or whatever it may be, just not acceptable in any way, and we've got to get it fixed, and we will. But the penalty situation and the turnover situation being what it was, when you average over 6 yards of play on offense, it's all for naught if you're going to be giving back so many of those yards in different capacities. We've got to find a way to first and foremost correct whatever the issue was. Normally, we can do that in game if there's an issue, but there just seemed to be a flinch here and there, way too much. So if there was any uncertainty of what we were doing, that obviously is something we've got to get corrected, no matter who's in the game and all those things. Something we've got to do. We are right back here in a week with a division game, chance to go 3-0 in the division. But to me, we will, consistently build on the good practice week we had. This team's not a results-based team that will prepare any different, but they're obviously an upset group in there that thought we, could have done a lot of things better in the game to win the game, while also doing a lot of things that were. They gave us a chance to win a game when the circumstances were, in many cases, caused by us against a good football team like that. Jonathan Grenard did have a left shoulder injury. He'll get assessed later, today and into tomorrow, but be able to give you guys an update on that. And outside of that, that's all I have for you guys right now from an injury standpoint.
Did you uncover any themes throughout the game why the frequency of those penalties were happening?
Well, I think a couple of them came when we were motioning from one side to another. Maybe there was a little bit more of a hard count emphasis by JJ at certain times. We have multiple cadences, and guys have really had not a very large issue with the cadence this year. But for whatever reason, JJ, obviously his first start on the road from post-injury was last week, so we didn't have a lot of cadence in Detroit, so whatever was unearthed today needs to get fixed immediately.
From what you could see, did you have any indication that the Ravens were simulating snap?
I have not had a chance. I did ask our guys, unless there was some calls on some of the motions maybe that were happening, but I did not get any indication from our guys they were doing that.
Kevin, did you guys make any in-game adjustments to cadences? Did you find one that wasn't working and go to a different
we tried to simplify it down as much as possible, and you want to make sure you at least give yourself a couple variations so they're not teeing off on you, on every snap. And they've got some exotic looks on third down. They've got some things where maybe it's a requirement, but some of those things after a positive run, we were hoping to maybe stack some runs on a drive, and then you go right back to a kind of a get back on track situation via your own doing. Those are the ones that are very unfortunate, especially then when you end up with more third and longs than you ever should when you're averaging 6 yards of play.
Kevin, the quick 3 and out at the end of the first half, and then going forward throwing deep on third inches.
It was a yard, and it was 4 down territory. So we knew that was going to be zero coverage, one-on-one with Justin, and then a chance to, if we didn't get the look for the play, we were going to, get a run off, and I was planning on going for it regardless on 4th down.
Situations like that, obviously it's good to be aggressive against the way the league is going. What's JJ's parameters, play calling at the end of the first half, and then the deep ball there? What kind of guidelines do you give?
Yeah, we were. There's definitely some parameters there, Mark, from a standpoint at the end of the one thing about the end of the half, the throwaway, where we really had nobody over there. It was just that's a situation where you're almost in a if it's not there, we'll go ahead and keep that clock running, at least make them use a timeout. The third and one, I mean, that ball's already left his hand when Justin and Humphrey's feet get tangled up. Things like that happen in football, and I'll take Justin Jefferson one-on-one down the field in zero coverage, as much as we can possibly do it, especially when you're going to have the ability to then take that shot and then with the field position we were at, go get that yard on fourth down.
In that throwaway, he should probably just take off running, or what should...
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you're trying to get that first down and see if you can potentially get some points. It had been since our first drive, and then we had a field goal in there, but you're trying to see if you can manufacture, in some cases, a double-up chance, and we just didn't do that, between that sequence and then how we started the second half and had the turnover. That was a critical, part of the game, I thought, from a standpoint of an opportunity lost where we're going to be aggressive, we're going to try to get JJ some chances, both, Justin Jefferson and JJ, because part of the growth and development is we've got to let him play a little bit as well, and we're trying to figure out that balance that gives you a chance to at least have a chance to win the football game in the end. I thought he competed, but there's every snap right now. There's major growth and learning and teaching going on. For a guy that was really making his fourth start.
Kevin, what did you make of his accuracy just throughout the game?
I thought he was pretty dialed in early on. Pretty good throw to Jalen Naylor for the big play on third down. I thought there was a lot of tipped balls, for a variety of reasons. Those are always hard for me to tell in real time. I think we had 4 or 5, block shots by their D-line. There were some opportunities, and then those are incompletes regardless of how you look at it. And then just as we were getting into the no huddle, trying to make our way back from 2 scores, we may have made the play on third or fourth down, like to convert, but some of those early down plays where he can be a little bit more pitch and catch even on some of those opportunities. So between a couple of those and the tip balls, you're looking at 6 or 7 incompletions for him. That all of those are touches for our guys and the ability to register the ball going forward with to try to keep the momentum on your side.
What's the process like now of trying to get cadence issues and false start issues corrected? How do you go about that this week?
Well, I think we got to have a conversation as a group. What transpired? It doesn't feel like all 8 of those were the same scenario, the same sequence. You're going to have, we try to eliminate them all. That's been a huge point of what we think it's going to take to win the game every week, whether it's Monday or Wednesday or Friday, talking to the team about eliminating those self-inflicteds, and we didn't do that in any way, shape, or form. So we've got to fix it. We've got to understand what was different today than what had been something we felt like we eliminated from maybe early on in the season.
Can you point to anything in terms of why maybe JJ and Justin Jefferson weren't able to get on the same page? It kind of felt like.
Yeah, I think there was some. Obviously, Justin had a good amount of targets today, but one of not many completions, and I think it goes. When you consider, he gets his legs caught on one of his one-on-one chances. I thought JJ gave him a chance on second and long, kind of in the high red fringe area right there, and we weren't able to connect on that one. There were some plays where I think whether it's a combination of coverage, Justin, working to uniquely find openings in some zones on some things, and then there was a couple times where I thought we had him and didn't hit him. Pressure, moved off the spot. There's a lot of things that go into it. But, yeah, we want to always keep his target share up there just because he's, obviously our best player. But at the same time, a guy like Jalen Naylor having the day he did is because of a lot of the things that Justin generates coverage-wise and things going his way. But I thought a lot of the times where we were working Justin was the right decision, and either a block shot or an incompletion could probably keep us from 3 or 4 other chances on the day.
What did you make of the run game, just in general, you guys' run game?
Yeah, it felt like early on it was, first probably, quarter and a half, it was, they were doing a good job up front, being physical and stout. And then we kind of made some adjustments there to attack some certain things. And then just as we, specifically the first the first sequence of the second half, two good runs in a row, and then we took the shot there versus 0 on 3rd and 1, knowing that we felt pretty good about getting it on 4th and 1 if that ball hits the earth.
Kevin, how much did the pre-snap penalties affect your ability to run?
Yeah, I think it's just those times where it's even second and 7 or 6. You feel like there was a few times early on in the game where getting us to those 3rd and manageable situations were good formulas for us to sustain on that first drive. We didn't necessarily have anything explosive, but we just kept moving the ball forward, and then hit a couple plays on 3rd down to kind of move the field and then eventually score. But yeah, it's just hard for your entire offense to get in a rhythm. It had nothing to do with, when you average 6 yards a play, it's functioning without, shooting yourself in the foot to be able to get those clean snaps off to continue your average of 6 yards a play is kind of how I look at it. And you would love to be in a game where none of those penalties happen. You probably get another 3-4 conversions and in addition to some more runs off, and then you can maybe start wearing the opponent down a little bit. But you get into the kind of you let the Baltimore Ravens play multiple 3rd downs in a row, either a 2nd and long into a 3rd and long. It's just not the formula, especially with a young quarterback, to try to play against that team.
Kevin, when you guys lose Jonathan Bernard, how did that impact some of the things they were trying to do in the run game against your defense?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. The guys that stepped in there, did a very good job for the most part. It just they had us a couple plays there where it looked like we got our edge taken away from us. Flo made some adjustments, and then that's what helped us, I think, on that final stop that they made to force them to throw it on 3rd down, and then we at least got an opportunity coming back at them there. Just didn't get it done.